And every night at 6 p.m., we are taking you deeper into the impact of coronavirus.
And tonight we are joined by Ralph Nelson, the CEO for the Rocket City Trash Pandas. Thank you so much for being with us this evening.
A pleasure, Najahe.
Ralph, what has been the financial impact of the coronavirus on the team and for our city?
It's been really rough. You know, we would be playing games right now, and this ballpark would be packed right now with about 7,000 people, with a game to start in about a half an hour. And you know, the revenues in the minor leagues are all about the game itself. So it's people that come to the games, people that buy food, people that buy merchandise in the stadium, and obviously we have none of that. But this community has really accepted our team. You know, we sold $2.5 million in merchandise, and we're engaged with the fans every single day, and we know that they're excited for it to happen. So it's really just a matter of us waiting it out.
Very excited for this to happen. I mean, season ticket sales were brisk. You even had to add seats to fill the demand. So what are you hearing from the fans who have invested so much in this team so far?
They've actually been great. I mean, I can count on one hand the number of people that have called about refunds. Most people understand this is just something that none of us have been through before. And so we're all in this together. And I've promised the fans that they're going to get the value of every single dollar they've spent. So if they bought a game this year and we don't play until later in the season or next year, they're going to get that value back. And the same with you know, our groups and we have wonderful sponsors that have excuse me, paid a lot of money to have their name in this ballpark, and I've made them all very aware of the fact that you know, their investment may not kick in until next year, and none of them have complained. They've been wonderful partners. I mean, this community has accepted baseball like none other that I've ever been aware of, and I've been in this game a long time.
In the instance that someone would like a ticket refund because of the coronavirus, what is your policy?
We're waiting on the rest of the sport to create the policy. Baseball has never been through anything like this before, so normally when a game gets postponed, then people take the value of that ticket and they apply it to another game. But if the season, we're waiting. If the season is to be called off, for example, the worst case scenario, and people want a refund, we're certainly going to do that. It's just, right now, everything has been postponed. Nothing's been canceled. I think realistically, we know that there's no way we'll get the full schedule in this year, no matter what happens. So we will be prepared to refund or credit or offer incentives if people want to apply their tickets to next year. We'll give them gifts or value added to their ticket. We're going to make everybody whole because they've been terrific, and we don't want anybody to be disappointed.
Ralph, you mentioned merchandise sales have been a bright spot for this franchise, breaking records. Is this still going strong?
It's unbelievable, Dan. I mean, it is unbelievable. We've sold over $3,000 online since 10 o'clock this morning. Both stores are open. The Bridge Street store opens in the afternoons and through 7 o'clock at night. It's open on weekends. The Junkyard store is open. I was just in the Junkyard about 3 o'clock this afternoon, and we had, I don't know, 10 or 12 customers in there. To me, it's beyond my belief or my own logic as to why our mascot is so popular, but I'm awful glad that it is.
There is still so much that is unknown. In your opinion, do you think there is going to be a minor league baseball season?
I don't know, Najahe. Right now, where it is the major league players are negotiating with the major league owners. And once that gets worked out, then it's almost a trickle down. So that one of the provisions of that discussion is how many players the major leagues will carry. They may carry a taxi squad larger than normal. That would affect AAA, and then AAA affects AA. And so it's really not, we don't know right now. I had heard that we were going to play August 1st and play through the end of October. And then I heard again that that's not legal, so we'd only play through the end of September. There will come a point where it makes no sense to have the season, but we're not there yet, and everybody's waiting to see what happens at the Major League level. And then obviously the most difficult part of this is that our business is in, I guess, 48 states, and if we're in 48 states, that's 48 governors that have to make decisions about crowd size and social distancing and all that. So it's a very complicated question and hard for me to really speculate.
You mentioned that social distancing concern. What will be done to encourage social distancing at our games?
Well, it's really going to depend on what the regulations are. I will tell you this. We've worked very hard at coming up with protocols to keep this stadium as clean as possible, to be able to sanitize this stadium throughout the game and after every game. We have ordered thermometers so that everybody that comes in the game will have their temperature taken, so we can be sure not to let anybody in that could infect somebody else. We've talked about, there are some plans out there for spacing people in the stadium. You know, the sad thing about it is I just did a long walk through the ballpark with Lyndon Blake, and I was explaining to her that this entire stadium was built based on socialization. So we have 7,500 people that we could have here for a game, and we only have 5,400 traditional stadium seats. Everything else is like a table I'm sitting at where 4 people together, 20 people in the booths, the suites. We have all kinds of concourse suites. We have our berm area. We've got picnic tables. All that was developed so that the people in North Alabama can get to know one another at the games. And of course, now we're talking about social distancing. So it's been a real gut punch, but we're going to get through it because the people here deserve this team.
Hypothetically, this could be difficult. Play involves a single ball. It could find its way to a number of different players at any given time. You can't wipe the ball off. You can't turn a double play without it hitting all these different players. So even the dugout, you're going to have a hard time. So staying 6 feet apart, what might be done to overcome those kind of hurdles?
You know, the major leagues are going to figure that out first. And, you know, and then we'll see. I mean, it's tough. I mean, there's no question about it. You know, you see the games that are being played in Korea now, and the umpires are wearing masks, and the coaches, the first base and third base coaches are wearing masks, and it's really new territory for everybody. But we're going to worry about the fans in the stands and make sure that everybody feels very comfortable being here. And I'm sure the Angels are going to have some protocols for their players and their coaches, and it is definitely a very complex situation.
Have you spoken with the players and coaches, and what happens if you have a situation where a player doesn't want to play? Well,
so the players are under the control of in our case, the Los Angeles Angels. And so that would be a relationship between the Angels and their players. Our manager, Jay Bell, I talk to him at least once a week. And, you know, he hears things and he talks to me about, you know, we've got a trainer's room where the players are all treated by trainers. You know, we have a weight room where all the players will lift weights, and they're obviously going to share equipment. And Dan's right. I mean, a double play ball is touched by 3 players as well as a pitcher is 4. So it's a very complex situation, and I guess we all need to wait and see and work together on it, and hopefully there will be some advances in medical science that will make a lot of this moot.
Complicated, very complicated. That's a shame. Brand new stadium, outstanding roster, food looks amazing, fun mascot. We certainly hope the boys of summer here in Madison and Rocket City can take the field soon. Trash Panda CEO Ralph Nelson, thanks very much for joining us tonight.